Después de haber cerrado el mes de mayo en más de 103.000 de facturación, me han invitado a explicar y desvelar cómo lo he hecho, porque el mercado ha cambiado por completo, ya que ya no necesitas ni coger llamadas de venta, ni tener setters, ni tener todo un equipo de 10 personas para que estén detrás de todo lo que estás haciendo. Y he tenido la oportunidad de estar con Su-Wei en su academia, en su consultoría, porque me ha invitado de ponente para todos sus clientes y para toda su comunidad para desvelar este mismo sistema. Y tal y como él mismo dijo que nunca había visto a nadie conseguir esto, voy a desvelar en toda la llamada que vas a ver aquí, que sea desvelada, os la dejo totalmente gratuita a todos los que lo estáis viendo, que queráis escalar, que os sintáis estancados en 20, 30.000 y no consigáis superar esa cifra. Todo lo que vais a aprender aquí, por favor, coger papel y boli, aplicarlo y daros cuenta sobre todo de que todo es completamente posible. Y además, estando en el mercado español, el tipo de cliente que tenemos normalmente es un cliente que paga menos, es un cliente muy escéptico, un cliente que cree que la mayoría de nosotros que creamos contenido somos vendehumos cuando no tiene absolutamente nada que ver. Y cuando hablé con Sue, que es un chico que para los que no lo conozcáis está facturando más de 400.000, 500.000 euros cada mes con su consultoría, también dedicándose a todo el tema del contenido, todo el tema de escalabilidad de negocios, dijo: no me lo puedo creer que hayas conseguido todo esto sin equipo, todo esto sin setters, sin closers. Eres la primera persona que conozco que lo ha hecho.
The fact that you made 100K a month with just you, an editor, and a CSM, that is so impressive. So impressive. Emma, you should be making 200, 300K a month.
Yeah.
Because
without sales goals, by the way.
Exactly. Every other person that I know that is at this point has had a setter, is taking all the sales calls, has a VA, has a full team, and you did it without any of that. So realize how impressive that is.
Y es por eso que voy a desvelaros en esta llamada lo mismo que le he desvelado a toda su comunidad, que son personas que han pagado más de 5 cifras solo por estar ahí con él aprendiendo en cómo escalar. Así que sin más dilación, aquí tenéis la llamada. Disculpad que está en inglés, pero está traducida al español para todos los que no lo habléis, que no pasa absolutamente nada. Lo vais a tener aquí detallado en los subtítulos y espero que lo disfrutéis mucho y sobre todo acordar que tenéis seguro que muchas creencias limitantes que nos permiten tomar ese paso en vuestro negocio y mejorar y crecer para que de esa manera superáis 6 cifras, superéis ese punto de estancamiento en facturación en el que estéis, porque os va a ayudar muchísimo. Espero inspiraros y vamos a meterle cañita.
So, how did I go from 20 to 30K, more or less, to 100K in about 3 months? And also, I have to note that I'm in the Spanish market. I'm not in the English market, and that means that I post content in Spanish, not in English. And the thing in the Spanish market is that our audience is very less inclined to buy, and they're very skeptical, very skeptical. So it's more complicated for us to sell to them because we need to nurture them a lot. And so thanks to that, just a few accomplishments I want to share with you all. I paid all of my grandparents' debts when I went to Russia to see them, which was really nice. And then I managed to buy my dream car afterwards, in case anybody loves cars. So I bought an M4. I really love it. I think it's a good price. So yeah, how did I do that? Pretty much. I did it, first of all, without a setter. I have no setters, no one chatting through my DMs. I also don't have any closers, and no, I do not do sales calls. I also did not invest nothing on ads. I didn't pay any ads. And I only did it by myself with a mentor, which pretty much is a teacher I have in my consulting academy where my clients are, which he gives once a week a call. And I also have a YouTube editor that edits for me 4 videos a month. That's it. So I know it is a bit different that from what your guys usually used to hear. You know, okay, you need to hire a setter, you need to hire a closer. Maybe you should invest in ads and try something like that. I did it in a completely different way. And it worked. And it's working this month too, because probably if I keep on like this, I will close it in about 120, 130K this month. So we're pretty much a 3-people team. And I'm only working about 2 to 3, 4 hours a day, not more. I mean, just because we're 3 people doesn't mean that I'm all the time, all of the day working and posting content. No, that's not it. This is my Instagram, in case you don't know. I have about 245,000 followers. And at the same time, about 20K subscribers on YouTube. So now, how did I do this? The one thing I did is that I positioned myself as a disruptive creator in my market. And that means that while everyone is talking in my market in itself, no, because I do personal branding, I realized that everybody was talking about virality followers, like, okay, how do I gain 100K followers and so on, and how to edit better your content. And I realized, okay, if everybody's talking about this, what if I talk about something else, about something different? So I decided to find what was missing in the market, and I realized that a few months later, I was talking to a gap in the market no one was seeing nor exploding, because everybody was talking about these three main things, and I found something that people were not talking about. And pretty much what happened there is that people's needs were not met, because people who wanted to learn something different about personal branding that didn't find anything different, that wasn't, for example, virality or something like that, they were just there and they didn't know who to buy from. And so what I did is I realized that if I post content that converts my audience into clients, I'm not talking about virality, which is what my market was talking about. Then at the same time, everybody was saying that I need to post less and with higher quality. So I said, what if I post more, maintaining the same quality? And at the same time, I wasn't a fan of posting punctual story sequences, so I decided to post stories every single day to create more mental space. I don't know if in English it's the same as in Spanish, but what it means is that I get in the head of my audience all of the time, all day. And so the first thing I did to accomplish this is I switched from posting punctual stories to daily Instagram stories. Pretty much, these are story sequences from one day, this is from another day, this is from another day, and this is from another day. And as you can see, maybe I post about 7 to 30 stories a day. And I'm not preparing them. I'm not thinking about what storytelling should I post about today. What I do actually look at is, what does my audience need to hear today? Because based on the stories I posted yesterday, did they interact in any of the, or like, did they interact in a specific story or didn't they interact? So that way I can find, what do they need from me? Do they want that I talk more about my life, more about lifestyle, or do they prefer that I talk about something more specific? So that way I can show them, for instance, how to get viral, but not get to 100K followers, but do get to 10K a month, for instance. So I usually listen to my audience, and based on that, I decide which stories to post every day. And these are not sequences. The only thing I do is I just keep on living my life. And if I go with the car and I go for a ride, I just post a story where I talk about life, then maybe share a picture with a friend of mine that's also in the business, and we talk about interesting topics that I know my ICP loves to hear about. That's the most important thing. And then I'm aware that maybe not everyone is watching my stories, and maybe they're not even getting to the last one. I'm aware of that because this is volume, but I'm creating mental space all of the time. Maybe you're not hearing what I'm saying, but you're seeing my face every single day in your Instagram account. And that's what converts the best for me. Because when I do like this with my fingers, and then I decide to, when I decide to open like a webinar or something like that, people like, they go like crazy and enter the webinar. Pretty much that's what happens. And then, as I said, why do I do this? Mental space. When I try to create, for me personally, the perfect story sequences, perfect content, and try to find what storytelling should I use, it didn't convert as much. People did see me more, and the views of my stories did go higher, like they were higher, but they didn't buy from me more. They buy the same or even less. So I said, okay, I should try something different. And that's why I started posting stories every single day. Like you're probably never gonna find my Instagram without a story that I posted today. The second thing I'm doing, I started posting daily YouTube videos. I know that this sounds actually insane and crazy, but it takes me about 20 to 30 minutes a day to find the winner idea and at the same time then post the video. And this is what my channel looks like today. And the funny thing is, I don't have a thumbnail designer. I don't have also someone that scripts the videos, nothing. I do it all by myself. And actually the thumbnails are made with AI. I do them with ChatGPT, and it takes me about 5 to 7 minutes. If you use AI to your advantage, you don't need a thumbnail designer, at least for now. I know that eventually, definitely I'm gonna hire one because it is a good idea for me not to do the job. But I'm posting this kind of videos every single day, because that way I'm doing the same thing. I'm creating mental space so that people, maybe they're not entering this video, or maybe they're not entering this video and they're not watching it, but they're seeing me every day. And maybe not this video, but maybe they will want to see this one. or maybe not this one, but maybe in 3 days when they see my face again in the thumbnail, they will decide to click on that video. And in each of these videos, I'm not only talking about what I'm good at. For instance, okay, if you want to post content, you should do this and that. No, I'm also talking in each of the videos about client results. So I integrate an idea of a YouTube video with a client result. So it's not just a video talking about life and so on, but it's just me explaining the topic of the video itself, and I'm integrating a client result in that explanation, so that when people wanna or just wanna ask me how they can work with me, they already know that I have client results and that probably that result they can get them as well. And so point three, I posted in May, which was the month I made 103K and broke the 100K month. I posted 7 reels. I'm not prioritizing it at all because I realized that YouTube, the conversion that YouTube gives you, it has nothing to do with reels. Reels, the only thing that I realized that they do give me is that people on Instagram see me more. But the most important thing then is from reels to redirect the people to your YouTube videos, so that then through the YouTube videos you nurture them and then they want to buy from you. And so a lot of people ask me, okay, but where do you get the ideas from? And it's a very simple framework so that I can post a daily YouTube video pretty much. And is that I heard this from Suwe. He said this to me once and I loved it. And he said, if you don't know where to get ideas from, you should just listen to your one-to-one calls with your clients or your group calls, because the members that already paid you some money to work with you, they're asking you questions that your ICP probably already also wants to hear. Like, for instance, if they don't know how to solve a specific problem, I could perhaps create a YouTube video solving that specific problem. But this is not only enough, because in content, it doesn't just work that you get an idea and then you become viral. How it works is that you also need to find a winner YouTube video idea. So what I do is pretty much, I have a big list of the questions of all of the things that the clients that already paid me ask me daily. And based on that, I go and find on YouTube winner YouTube video ideas. And so based on that, I choose the video that performed the best. I try to see what thumbnail does it have, the title of the video, and at the same time, the introduction of the video. And so that way I can talk about the topic my ACP already wants to hear, and I already have a winner video idea. So the probability of the video working is much, much, much higher. And this equals that my DMs are not filled with tons of people asking me for information. No, if someone actually sends me a DM, it's because they're interested in buying. And what I mean by this is that I told you at the beginning that I don't have a setter and I don't do sales calls and I don't have a closer. So how is it possible that I managed to close people either way? And that happens because if somebody, for instance, didn't even watch my YouTube, I don't sell nothing to them. I just say, go watch my YouTube first. I can recommend you this video and that video, and then you can go and talk to me. Because I know that in the YouTube videos, I'm already integrating how I work, what do I do, client results, and if you really want to work with me, how you should text me. So that way, if someone actually is already ready to buy, they're already sending me one kind of DM that I have already identified. So I know that that person has probably already watched about 5 or 7 of my YouTube videos, more or less. And so that way, selling to them is very, very easy, very easy. And so I discovered this, like this method itself, because I listened to the market creating 3 different offers. And what I mean by this is that when I was stuck at 20, 30K a month, or even sometimes I did a 50K month, which is which was a number that I was like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I realized that I was trying to fulfill all of my audience with just one offer. I only had one. And I thought, okay, if I include in one offer everybody will buy from me. And I couldn't be more wrong, because I realized that some people that could pay me 10K were paying me 2K, and I was missing 8K, like 8,000 euros, just because I didn't create a high ticket offer when I have ICPs that are ready to buy from me. And just because I thought that with one offer it was enough, but no, you cannot fulfill everyone with one offer. And that way I ended up creating 2 more to the original offer I had. The first offer I already had, this was the base offer, is a low ticket offer, which is a school community. We have already, I have 329 members, And pretty much it's just a course. And once a week, the mentor I told you about is hosting a group call on Mondays. And then people can watch in the classroom everything. They can watch how to create content, how to create an offer, and so on and so forth. And then this is pretty much the low ticket offer. And this is created for those interested in building their personal brand from scratch. Like the people that still don't know how to do it and probably didn't do any sales, this is the low ticket is for them. And then also I added a tiny thing, which is how can they create their product and sell it? And why did I do this? Because it's very cheap, like the low ticket offer, $497 a year. Or when I do a webinar and launch it, I try to do it every month and a half. They can pay $99 a month if they want. And so the thing is, I added a part that was super important so that they could then buy the medium ticket offer, because the medium ticket offer is either 3K or 5K for 6 months. And this depends if you also want a one-on-one call with me or not. And mostly people, like 85% of them, buy the 5K offer paid in full. Like I also don't do like if you want to pay me 2K, I say no. When you have the 5K, you can pay. So pretty much all of the people that buy it already pay in full, all of them. And so in this offer, it's also a school community with a course and everything. We have also group calls and one-on-one call with me. And this is thought for those who already earn something with their personal brand, but they don't know how to scale it. So I created the low ticket offer for those people that want to start their personal brand. Then I have the medium offer, where it's focused on the people that already made some sales, but they don't know how to scale it. And then what it includes is a group call per week, one onboarding with me at the beginning of the program, and then content and sales course. But then here comes the offer that I didn't have before as well, which is the high ticket one. Because the high ticket offer is 10K for 3 months or 15K for 6 months. And then this past week, I closed 2 offers like this. I had 10K paid in full yesterday and 50K paid in full 2 days ago as well for this offer. Why did this happen? Because I created 3 offers, and then most of the people always enter the low ticket offer, but then they buy the medium ticket. And when they realize that they want a one-on-one with me and that the low ticket and medium ticket work for them really well, they buy the high ticket. And before, I only had the low ticket offer. And I thought that by selling to a lot of people for $497 a year, I would get to insane numbers and hit 100K, but I couldn't be more wrong, because people want to pay more. They really want to pay more. And sometimes it scared me to put a higher price, but it was the best decision I ever did, creating the other two offers. That's pretty much how I did it. And then the high ticket offer is focused on a completely different ICP. It's a bit different. It's focused for those who already earn over 6 figures a month, but not through organic content, through another acquisition channel. For instance, I closed the 10K offer that I closed yesterday, that the client paid yesterday. She is earning over 6 figures a month through email marketing. She doesn't know how to do it through personal branding. So she only paid for me to show to her how can she create a personal brand that also brings her clients. And she's already a type of client that's earning more than me, but doesn't know how to do it. And so this is the kind of ICP that I'm targeting with the high ticket offer. And then maybe some of you have the question, because some people ask me, okay, but if you don't do sales calls, how do you close these clients? Like, how do you make them pay pretty much if you're not talking with them on a call? And the thing is, all of these offers, I sell them through the DMs, but not just simple DMs or I'm not following a script. What I do is I send them a lot of audios, because most of the time, the marketing phrase that I use is that, hey, you're not talking with the seller, you're talking with me. So let me know what is your real problem and why you're texting me, and we'll see if we can solve it together or not. That's pretty much what I say. And also, by sending them audios, they see that I'm really, really close with them and that they can talk to me. So it is much easier for me to identify if they really buy from me or not, because it is really easy to see if they have the money, if they don't have the money, if they have the knowledge, or if they don't have the knowledge. And also, if they didn't even see my YouTube, I never pitch an offer because I know it is a waste of time. So that's like the filter I do to know if I could sell you any offer or if I should just say, hey, watch my YouTube and text to me a week later, pretty much. And then what this does is that if I sell to them through the DMs, how is it possible that they pay and they almost have no objections? And that is because in my content, I try to break the most objections I can before anyone texts me. Like, for instance, if a typical objection, if through a period of time, one objection I get is, I don't think that I have time. It is my duty in my content to prove that an entrepreneur that's making over 7 figures a year is creating his personal brand just to promote his business. If I create a video about that and the ICP that has the objection that I don't have time sees it, I will probably break part of that objection. And then through audios in the DMs, what I do is I just end up breaking the last part of the doubt that, okay, maybe I will have time, blah, blah, blah. So that way they just end up paying and we start working together. And so if I can summarize everything that I've said to you about why was I stuck at 20, 30K and I didn't scale, it could be for only one reason, which is that I thought that with one offer, I could fulfill everyone. And I couldn't be more wrong. Like, I thought I could sell to a lot of people for one price and that's it. But that is not true because depending on the person and depending on the client and depending on the ICP, when I created the medium ticket offer, I went to 70K. And then when I launched the high ticket offer, I reached 100K. That's what happened pretty much. So another thing that helped me a lot to know on what I should focus on, which is another thing that I would also like to share with you, is that I didn't know back then what was a priority and what wasn't, because I didn't have the criteria to realize if I should focus on one thing and if I should focus on another. And I think I saw this a long time ago in one of Sue's videos in YouTube, actually. And I put it as my wallpaper. It's literally my phone's wallpaper. I have it here. And it is this thing right here, okay? I have it on my phone still just to remember it in case I get stressed or something. But this is like the framework I keep in mind that actually got me to 100K so that I didn't waste any of my time on things that didn't help me progress, but rather kept me stuck. And it pretty much is this, which is you should focus on sales if you're not making enough. Like if for instance, you have a lot of leads, content is going well, but for whatever reason, you're not closing enough, but you do have a lot of leads, then sales is your main focus. On the other hand, if you don't have enough leads or maybe you're getting not qualified ICPs, then your marketing is failing. You should focus on posting more content and better content. And then on the other hand, if you do not have any results, any new results from clients, you're not getting any good reviews from people that are working with you, even if it's a phrase or something nice they said to you, then you should focus on fulfillment, maybe do another call, maybe gift a call to some clients, which I did that when I had that problem, and it worked incredibly well. So then this way I just found what was lacking and I try to fix it as soon as possible, because before having this framework, I just didn't know what was wrong. And I was like, okay, I'm making 20K, life is good, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know how to scale. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if I should focus on posting more, on posting less, on taking sales calls. I had no idea until I saw this. And then when I saw that something was lacking, I just focused on that, fixed it, and then went on to the next problem. And that is how I realized that having one offer was not the way to scale, at least in my case. And then as a bonus tip, this is a bit of a mentality kind of part, but if you can, and if you have the opportunity, guys, travel more. Like I met Sue at a Vienna event, at an A Players Vienna event. And that event just blew my mind because I'm in the Spanish market and Spanish people think differently. They view the world differently. And the kind of ICP we have is very closed-minded, very skeptical. But then when I heard about the English market, when I heard about what you guys do, the prices that you charge, I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this even possible? How could I do this in my market? So it opened my mind a lot as to all of the possibilities that I thought were not possible, because I had in my mind that I was going to scale to 100K a month for sure. Like I knew it. I didn't know how, and I didn't know how long it would take, but I knew 100% that I was going to get there. And traveling helped me a lot realize that it is possible, because I met people that were making about $500,000 a month, or that were making 300K a month. And I talked with them and I realized that, okay, if this guy is making this kind of money and I'm stuck at 20K or 30K, why would I not be able to get there too? I just need to find out what is my path that will take me there. And traveling helped me a lot. I also went to Dubai. I also went to Morocco. And it broadened my mind a lot to then disconnect from the business temporarily and have a much wider perspective on all of the mistakes I was making and on all of the things that I wasn't doing right. And before I finish, I also want to add another thing, which is that since the beginning, I was aware that perhaps I was doing everything wrong, because I didn't want to hire a setter, I didn't want to hire a closer, or I didn't want to hire someone that supposedly was going to help me, because I thought, okay, I don't know how to deal with team members, so I'll try to do it by myself. But considering I have to do it by myself, I could be very wrong, because everybody's saying me that I should hire a setter or that I should hire a closer. So that limiting belief of mine actually helped me to focus so much on creating the best type of content possible, like the best type of content that I could actually do, so that I wouldn't need a setter or a closer. So now, for instance, guys, so that you know, I'm aware that if I do find a really good setter or two of them, or if I find an amazing closer, considering my content is already doing its job, I'm sure that probably in about 2 months or 3 months, I will eventually go over 200K or more, because my content is already doing the sales part. And then the setter and the closer will only have to do the last 20-25% to close the client. So if any of you think that, okay, maybe I'm insane that I should do this my way, maybe you're not wrong, but just make sure that your content does its job, because the better your content is, the easier you're going to close all of your clients. And if the people that are watching your content do not see it valuable, do not see something that they need to hear, and they do not see you as an authority, and why should they buy from you, then it's going to be really hard for you to close them. And when I switched that in my content, and I realized that I shouldn't be afraid of giving more value, that I shouldn't be afraid of actually explaining the systems I use with clients, when I broke that belief and I started posting it all and I started explaining everything, and I started being very transparent, that's when actually sales started coming, and they started coming really easily. Because, for instance, I think this is kind of a funny story, but the craziest sale I've ever done was a 10K sale, like the one I told you before that I have of the high ticket. This one, where is it? Here. The 10K for 3 months, a guy paid it without even talking to me. Just imagine. He said, when I did the onboarding with this guy, he said, yeah, I bought from you this ticket because I saw all of your videos, all of your lives, and I thought, okay, this is probably your highest ticket. So I will just buy it because I know that I want to work with you. I didn't talk with him. I didn't do any setting. There was no call. There was nothing. He just paid. And that just made me realize, okay, content is the most important thing. And if you're not getting enough sales, it's probably because of content. And if you're not closing enough, it's probably because of content. And at the same time, here the framework, this one, and at the same time, if you're not having enough results from your clients, it's probably also related with your content, but not the content that you share publicly, the content that you have probably in your fulfillment process and everything. So to summarize it all, because this is the end of the presentation, the thing that really helped me scale was creating incredible content, like just obsessing over it, being there every day, even though maybe today I don't want to record a YouTube video, but I know that I can make the time, and I know that if I do it, more clients will come, and then they will just buy from me, and I will just have to send them 3 to 4 audios that last a minute and a half. That's it, like that's my setting strategy. And they will buy from me because they've already realized how I work, who I am, what I do, my client results, everything. And once I implemented that, everything started coming with the three different offers. I just knew which ICP wanted what offer, and based on the information they gave me, I offered one or I offered another one. So yeah. Well, this is how I made it. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope I explained myself well. I know my English is not the best. I tried my best. So if you have any questions or something, you can let me know, or if you want to see any specific part of the presentation as well, then of course. Okay, I'm seeing your comments here. Do you have a VSL? No, I don't have a VSL. Like what I try to do is that each of my YouTube videos has to be a VSL. Each one of them. Each one of my reels, each one of my stories, each one of my YouTube videos, like everything has to be the best content that sells. That's literally what I obsessed with, because I was aware that if my content doesn't sell, how am I supposed to close someone if I don't want to take sales calls because I don't like them, and if I don't want to do the setting because I just prefer sending an audio to the person. So that was my logic, pretty much. So yeah, Aiden, if you wanna add anything.
Yeah, firstly, killer presentation. I think definitely a bit unorthodox in terms of kind of, your strategies for growth, but I think super cool perspective. I've actually got a question from my side. You mentioned you use like AI quite a bit for the thumbnails on the YouTube to help with the volume. Could you walk us
Yeah.
through like where else within the business, whether it's the content or whatever side of the business you use AI and how you're kind of leveraging that? I think that'd be super important.
I only use AI for the thumbnails. Really, that's it. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because it's really easy in the end. It's like to post good content, we just need to look at the content that already works. So I do the same with the thumbnails. For instance, for me, the Iman Gadzi idea thumbnails work really well. I also look at Leila Hormozi, what does she do? And also I have 2 to 3 other Spanish creators that I love their thumbnails. And then I try to do 1 or 2 for one YouTube video, and it takes me like 5, 10, 15 minutes for the 2 of them. And I download the original thumbnail, and then I take pictures of me and of the text that I want for me. And I just put a prompt as to, okay, this is the thumbnail that I want to have for my YouTube video, but this is not me. So you should add me to this thumbnail and replace me from the person, change the text, change a bit the background, and it looks like a different thumbnail. But the idea is the same, the structure is the same, everything is the same. And I just add on that one. That's
Wow.
it.
Amazing. Appreciate it.
Jacob.
What's up? First of all, thank you for the presentation. That was fire. My question was or a couple of questions. So first, for like the content, you said that you have 4 videos a month edited, but then you said that you bring out like a YouTube video a day. So is it just like raw talk? I looked right now a little bit over your YouTube. Obviously didn't understand the word, but it was like you did Miro boards and then you just posted your Zoom call. So what's that kind of your process of creating that much volume in YouTube, and how much you focus on actual like quality in terms of editing and stuff?
Yeah, for me, what I realized is that the quality isn't measured in the editing itself, it's measured in the quality of my message. So if what I'm talking in one YouTube video is already resolving a question that my ICP has, that is already considered value for me, because they already see me as an authority, as, okay, this girl is explaining this to me. And so if, for instance, I see that to answer a specific question, it would be much visual and easier for me to create a Miro or a Loom about a presentation. And that would be a much better explanation. Then obviously I sit down for 20, 30 minutes, I do the presentation, and then I record the video itself. And the only reason that I do have an editor for 4 videos a month is because sometimes I do want that bushy style editing that looks really nice, just to have it. And because sometimes I also do vlogs just to show a bit of lifestyle if I travel, and my thought process during a week with me or a day with me. So I definitely don't want to edit that. So I have an editor that knows how to do it, and I pay her for it, and that's it. And for the ideation, if that's also your question, you should really look at what your ICP needs, because when you post a lot of volume on stories, on YouTube, on Reels, people comment stuff, they ask you stuff. Or if they don't interact as much, just listen to the clients with whom you're already working, because they're asking you very valuable questions that you can convert then into content. And that's the only framework I use. And I make sure to, obviously, if I'm recording a video a day, I make sure that those 10, 15, 20 minutes are really valuable and that every piece of information I give answers that question perfectly. And I integrate a client result with that answer so that they see that this is not only free value, but that I actually work with people that implemented what I'm saying and that it worked. I don't know if
Awesome.
that answers your question.
Yes, 100%. And in terms of your videos, is it solving one super specific niche topic always, where you focus just on one topic and that topic alone, rather than like explaining the whole framework behind it?
Both. I do both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I have three different ICPs. I have the ICP that wants the low ticket, the ICP that wants the medium one, and the ICP that wants the high ticket. So I try to change because the high ticket ICP wants the solution to a very specific problem they have. But then the low ticket ICP, they don't know how to post content, so I should just give them a framework on how to start. And what ends up happening is that the low ticket people, like that ICP, I end up creating content that's much broader. You know, it gets to more people, like maybe 5K views, something like that on YouTube, which is a lot. And then obviously the high ticket ICP is also watching this video because they know me and they discover me thanks to this video. But then they're like, okay, if this girl knows about this, maybe she also knows about that. And then they enter my YouTube and they try to search. So
Okay.
that's what I found out. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you basically have a balance in between super specific videos that are more for like your high ticket ICP and then the more broader ones. Okay. Okay, that absolutely makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. And then also towards this, like, because I feel like right now I just have one ticket, one high ticket, but the thing is like I have also like I do footballers, whatever, but I also have like younger players that want to work with me. So I think what was your thought process of creating like this like the second or like the lower tier ticket? Because I feel like if I would implement the lower tier ticket further down the road, that would also like give me just additional cash.
Yeah, what I found out is that some people would definitely pay me 1,000 euros, but they don't want to pay me five because they don't have the money. So I was like, okay, what if I create something that's also really irresistible and that solves the needs of the people that do want to pay 1K, but that they cannot pay 5K? That was pretty much it because I realized that with a lot of the people that I was talking through the DMs, they were like, okay, I love this software. I would love to join, but I just don't have the money. And I'm not going to finance a 5K ticket if you pay me 1K a month. Like it makes no sense. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, then what if I create something basic that can help the people that can pay me 1K, for instance? And then with this information that I give them, they can then buy the next ticket because I've already helped them with the first problem. And then once the first problem was solved, they bought the second ticket because it solves the second problem. You know, like for me was the low ticket people, I don't know how to post content. I don't know how to do sales. I know nothing. Perfect. I'll show you everything, like the basic things you need to know. And then when they make their first, second, and third sale, they buy the medium ticket because they're like, okay, I want to scale this thing. I know already how to do this and I know how to do this, and you help me do it. So why won't I buy the next level? That was my thought process. And that's how it is like a ladder, you know, from one level to another to another. So if you know that you have people that maybe won't pay you the ticket that you currently have, and there's a lot of them, you can actually create a ticket for them. Because what I also did in May was that I launched an intensive course of 45 days. And it was a 1K ticket, and 82 people bought it in a week and a half. No sales calls, no nothing. Like it was insane. And I only got to this idea because I realized that a lot of people don't have the money to pay the 5K ticket and they don't want to enter the $497 academy that I have. So I was like, I'm gonna create something else. And that's how it ended up because they did have the 1K and they paid it in full, all of them. All of them.
That's such a great idea, like having like a 90-day or 45. Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much. That was so valuable. No, and I can relate because I mean I'm talking like I'm from Germany, so I know how the buyer is like kind
Yeah,
of
it's
kind of the
different.
same.
It's
Yeah,
different. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
pain.
Hope it helps. Hope it helps. Max,
You're muted, brother.
Yeah, we
My
don't.
bad. I just lowered my hand. I'm sorry. So I know everybody said it so far already, but I'm gonna say it again. This was so cool to listen to. I enjoyed it so much, and it really like it's so refreshing to hear a completely different approach explode. It was so cool. Um, yeah. So first of all, first question is, how long does it take you to go from having an idea to having the YouTube video posted? Like, what's the time frame?
It's about 45 minutes.
So you basically have the idea and you record instantly, and then there's not much editing to do. You just immediately post it.
Nothing. Yeah, because you see, if I let my perfectionism enter the room, I'm not posting the video, you know what I mean? So I
Okay.
just realized that I don't necessarily need people to watch the video, but I do want them to see my face and that I posted something today and they see me. They see me in the For You page. That's
Mm,
like the main logic. So I try to, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to find an idea because I already have a list with what my clients ask me on the daily, on the mentorships I give them.
mm,
So I have a list with ideas. And the only thing I do is I translate that question they ask me to English because in the English market, you have insane videos. We don't have that good videos. That's what it is. So I translate the idea and I look at videos from other people that already answered that question. I see the title and I see the thumbnail, and then I listen to the video for about a minute and a half, and I write the main introduction they do, and that's it. I don't even know what they're talking about in the video. I add my own answer. That's
Do you,
it.
do you you know that scoreboard that we were told to use? Do you score your ideas like which one is green
No,
light, which one what you just go?
no.
Okay, also cool. Also, bro, the revisions you have 4 videos a month. Like I'm assuming then basically you also don't really give revisions. You just take whatever the editor gives you and posts.
No, I give revisions. I do give them, yeah, because what I try to give my editor is videos that I definitely want edited, but I'm not gonna edit. So I went to a
Mm,
Morocco trip with 40 supercars. It was an insane trip. So I recorded a vlog, and my editor is probably about 12 hours editing that. So I'm gonna give feedback, and even if the video doesn't go out today, I don't care because I'm already posting a daily video. So that
mm,
video is like an extra quality that that
mm,
it's not needed. But I know this because I've asked some clients of mine that bought from me, and they said, "I saw that you're posting a daily video without any editing, but that you can afford a good editor and you have a good editor, but you only do it out of hobby." And I love that, you know.
mm.
So I do give
Yeah.
revisions, and if it takes longer, I don't care because I'm already posting my daily video today. So.
Okay. And this one that you post daily, you don't even edit at all?
No, nothing. I posted to YouTube. I hit record on the camera. And then what I do is in the editor part of YouTube, maybe the first 3 seconds, which I'm silent just in case.
Yeah.
I take it out and that's it. And then you can even see me at the end of the video turning off the camera. Yeah, it's pretty raw.
So interesting. So it's also
Pretty raw.
like it's one shot and not prepared too much, right? You just go with the flow.
Yeah,
So cool, really.
yeah, good.
One last question. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it a quick one. How did you gain the new follow? Because you have quite a lot of followers, right? Subscribers, followers, whatever. Did you gain that while you were on the program, like through those changes, or did you have them in advance and then made those changes?
No, I already had them. I had them, but um,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. I know people
How did
think
you?
it does, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. The follower count doesn't matter because
Okay.
I'm not going viral on purpose.
Huh.
Really, I'm not going viral on purpose because I realized that you can sell much more with less followers than people that have a lot of them just because of content. Just because of content. Like if your
Mm.
content is really good, and even if it's not a daily video, you really give out a lot of value on your YouTube videos, and you manage for them to get to 300 views. That's it. You manage for them to get to 300 views, and your reels to 1K, 2K. With that, you can have a lot of sales, a lot, and a lot of
It
qualified.
literally blows my mind, really. That is so cool because I would never see like YouTube videos with 300 views and then an Instagram reel with 1K views and say, okay, she probably makes 100K a month. That's crazy to me, really.
That's what I was actually explaining at the beginning of the presentation, that when I found this gap in the market, I was like, what the fuck? How is nobody talking about this? Like it makes no sense. I think maybe guys, you also know Dario. Dario, he has like
Yeah, yeah, that
300,000
is,
and
yeah,
something followers. He closed a month also more than 100K. Like you can definitely do it. Definitely you can. Definitely you can. Yeah. So it's not that
thank you
important,
so much.
but yeah, I did gain the followers back then because I went super viral. But it was too much. Like
Mm.
zero qualified ICPs, the DMs filled with people just curious about who the fuck I am and why did they see my reel. It was like a waste of time, and I'm not doing it again. No, 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 no.
Okay,
Hope
okay,
it
thank you
helps.
so much for your answers.
You're welcome. Um, Kylie.
Hey Emma, so yeah, again, like killer videos, everyone said. Like,
Mhm.
I also watched like a couple of your videos, like I think a month ago, because I saw that you were like
Oh,
hitting these numbers. So I'm like really curious to know, like, in terms of content itself, and like, like because I've watched your videos and you have like such good diction. Like I see you just really like go through it, you go through the points. Is there like I don't know, like anything that comes in your mind when you think like, oh, this is like for example, you're delivering a particular point. Like, do you just like roll with it or like what comes in your mind? Like I see you're like doing it because like it's just pretty much one shot, like from what I
yeah,
saw.
it is. It is. What I try to do always is that, well, back then I realized that my main asset, considering when I started, like I had no money, nothing, I was like, okay, my main asset is just talking. I need to be able to talk and to talk really well. So when I press that record button, my mind just thinks, okay, you cannot mess up. Just, you need to make an introduction, which you already wrote. So more or less, you know how you need to say it. And then you already know the answer to this question. So I just imagine myself mentoring someone when the camera is on, and I just do my best effort to not mess up. That's it. Like, that's the only thing I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, if I don't mess up, I have my video for today done. That's it. Then I'll just have to do the thumbnail, blah, blah, and post it. So that's the only thing I talk about because if you already know that you're good at what you do and that you know the answer to the question, just don't pressure yourself to answer it perfectly, but make sure that you do it. Like that it's answered and it's answered in the best way possible. And one thing that works for me a lot, if I'm starting to mess up, I change the subject and put an example. Because when I put an example, it doesn't look like I messed up, and I'm trying to explain it in a different way with an example, and then I go back to the point. That works really well when I kind of like do say something wrong, for instance.
You like
I said,
posting on my YouTube just like some rawer videos too. That's really cool
of
to
course,
hear. Like, how
go
long
for
have
it.
you been doing this for? Like, and just like
Um,
making content, like
yeah,
regarding
uh,
business.
the content part, you mean?
Oh, like whatever comes to mind, like content, business, like but your diction, like I really love it. Like when I read your video.
I started 2 years ago in January of
Oh,
2024. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hell,
yeah. But I was insane. Like I started posting 3 reels a day. Don't ask me why. I just heard it someplace and I was like, I'm gonna do the same. So I just managed to post 3 reels a day. And what happened is that I grew to 40,000 followers in 30 days. No, 13 days. And then in 37 days, I already had 1,000 followers, like 100K in 37 days. And then I realized that virality means nothing. So that was like a change of chip. But yeah, I just got really obsessed with it. And I obsessed with the fact that I don't want to edit stuff. And the only thing I should focus on is on how to communicate better. Like, how can I be 5 hours talking if I have to and don't mess up? That was like my only mindset because that way when I do decide to add a ton of editing so that the videos look really professional, it's gonna be really easy because I just need to talk and then effects are gonna be there, you know? So that was like my main focus with everything.
that's really killer. Yeah, I love that so much. Appreciate it, Emma.
Hope it helps. Yeah. Zaina, I hope I pronounce your name well.
Yeah, Zainab, that was honestly amazing. Thank you so much. My questions have kind of been answered, but I don't know if you have anything else. There's a slightly different angle, but it's pretty similar. Um, I was wondering if you gained all these followers or still gain followers, and that wasn't your intention, and you're or it was at the time, but you're not like adding all of the strategy essentially. How do you think that still happens? That's the first one.
Like, you mean, how is it possible that I'm making sales if I'm doing everything that I'm not supposed to do?
Yeah, but also that's definitely the second part of the question. The first part, I was thinking was particularly with followers, but definitely that is the second question.
Okay, the thing about followers is that sometimes we think that if we go viral with one reel, we might gain 5,000 followers. But what is the quality of those followers? So what I realized is that I shouldn't be focusing on gaining 5,000 followers from one video, but rather from three videos, maybe 500 followers. But out of those, maybe seven will text me and they will be qualified. So I just had to change my beliefs on content because every time I went viral, obviously you're growing audience and more people are watching you, which is okay. But you can also convert a lot and a lot more, fewer people if they're qualified. And that's what I actually ended up doing.
That's amazing. And what do you think now, if you're not applying all the strategies, if you were to pinpoint what is leading you to still gain followers, what would it be?
Like if I wanted to gain more followers now.
Yeah, like if are you still gaining followers like
Yes.
regularly? Yeah. What is leading to that, would you say?
I'm gaining followers because obviously I'm posting reels. That's a thing. I'm posting fewer reels, but I'm definitely posting reels either way. And right now I'm just posting what comes to mind because I kind of know the structure that works for me. Once you find out the kind of reels that bring you the most qualified ICP, you should just focus on doing that. And sometimes if you want to go viral, like broaden up that idea and talk about something more easy to understand. Um, and so I focus on if I have something really interesting to say or something that happened. Like when I closed the 100K month, in my market, it's also insane. Okay, no setters, no sales calls. Like, what is going on? How did you do this? Like, it makes no sense. So that is the reel I posted. And the idea isn't validated by anyone, but I know that it's so rare. So the people are just going to watch it. And that's what happened. So if you want to gain followers, for instance, I don't know how many do you have now, but if you really want to grow audience, just look at what your like the people you're inspired by do. Look at the type of content they do and the content that makes you want to buy. If
Mhm.
there's a piece of content that makes you want to, okay, I want to follow you, I want to know more about you, I want to maybe even pay you in the future, not now, but maybe in the future, I would recommend you that content because if that creator is generating that feeling in you, you will probably be able to generate something similar if you talk about something similar as well, and follow the same structure. I don't know if this answers your
No,
question.
that's amazing. Thank you so much. I just had one more. Um,
Mhm.
in your like your presentation was amazing. I haven't watched your video. I've like looked at your Instagram as well actually, but I couldn't understand. But I can tell that your ability to like articulate your message is amazing. So I wondered how you built that and if you've got any tips.
I think one of the key things that helped me communicate this way is recording very long content. Because when I started out, I sometimes recorded videos that lasted an hour and a half. And I was just talking about my story. Like there's a podcast on my YouTube that's 40 minutes long, and I'm just talking about who I am, why do I post content, what goes on through my mind. And so that way I accustomed myself and got used to explain, and like not stop. Because back then I just thought, okay, I'm very lazy. I don't want to do cuts here. I don't want to cut the video, then export the video. So I was like, okay, Emma, just concentrate and try to explain everything as if you were talking to a friend. And then after recording a lot of long content, recording shorter content is easier because you're like, okay, I already have the thought and I already know how to articulate it. I just need to do it a bit faster. And so you do it much better because in the end it's like everything, I guess. It's just practice. And the more you practice and the more in the end you talk to yourself because when you're recording with a camera, you're just talking to yourself. I mean, the more you talk to yourself, you're gonna see that, okay, I know when I communicate like this, I like myself better, and this thought is better explained this way, not that way. So you like end up just getting used to the way you talk, and when you have some time, you just use that time, and that's it. I don't know if it makes sense.
Amazing, thank you. Can I squeeze one more in? Sorry.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
I just wondered, it's a bit of a weird question, but what is your expectation when you post a piece of content? Like what do you think will happen?
I don't care.
Okay.
I just don't care. The only thing back then, I used to care a lot about the views, and I used to care a lot about, okay, I don't want to get a hate comment, please. Like I was like, oh, I don't like this. But now it's like I know that there's a lot of people that are watching my videos. Maybe they're not texting me now, but I know that if they watch 5 of them, they're gonna think about buying from me. Like they're gonna want to, because I know what I'm articulating. I know that this video is answering this, the other one is answering another question, the other one is adding value to the past video. Maybe this one is a complement to another video. And at the end of the videos, what I do also is I link another video at the end always so that they can click on another one. So I post it without expectations because I know that if I'm giving the best amount of value I can and also adding the client results so that, okay, what I'm telling you is actually working, eventually people are gonna want to buy from me. Like I know for sure. So I'm just always focusing on how do I create better content today, and that's it. Like I don't even care if it gets 300 views, and if it stays there, I try to change the thumbnail and the title like a few days later, and that's it. I don't look at anything else. Like no expectations really.
That's so valuable. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think I answered pretty much everything, unless there's something else in the chat. I think Alan asked, do you have a certain structure you can share with how you outline your YouTube videos? I guess you mean like how do I do the ideation and everything? If you wanna explain, it would be great. How do you CTA and get people to reach out to buy? I don't CTA them. Like the only thing I do is when I'm explaining the topic of the video, I always add the client result. Not on all of the videos, because come on, 7 YouTube videos a week, it's insane. Like I'm aware of that. So not on all of them, but at most of them, when I'm pointing out something and I know that I should put an example to prove it, I add a client result. And sometimes I do say, okay, if you're really interested in how we're doing this, just text me a message through Instagram and I can analyze if it applies to you as well. Like I'm not even selling. I'm just doing I'm just dropping insane value in each video, or that's at least what I try to do always, like insane value, so that people when they hear the video they say, what is this girl even talking about? I didn't even think about this. So that's always my main goal. Like I don't do any, because the CTAs for me didn't work back then. Like when I was at 2030, I think for that framework they worked perfectly. A lot of people texted me, then I had to filter them out, blah blah blah. But then it was like, if someone really wants to, and I learned this from Hormozy, if someone really wants to and they see value in your content, they will text you. Like they know how to find you. People are not dumb nowadays. Like they know how they can find you. So that was pretty much it. Aiden, I think you wanted to explain the
Yeah,
question.
quick question. First
Yeah.
off, awesome presentation. Really enjoyed it. Super unconventional. No setters or sales calls, crazy stuff. I was wondering, like, other than like creating the 3 offers and not having just the first one and thinking, a low ticket community is going to scale you to 100K a month, what other limiting beliefs do you think you had back then that like some of us might have that you had to shatter to like really get to that 100K a month?
I think the main limiting belief I had, or maybe it wasn't a limiting belief, it was more, I had a really big fear of failure, because when more clients come, more responsibilities come. And I was aware that when I was making 20, I had already a number of clients and I was used to that. But I thought, oh shit, now if I have triple the clients, what if I fuck up? What if I do something wrong? What if, like, I don't know. But my mind was all the time. I thought it was fear of, not failure. I thought it was fear of doing things right, like fear of you know, of achievements or something like that. I don't know how to translate it now. But then I realized it was just fear of failure. I was very afraid of doing something wrong. And considering we're in social media, at least for me, that was my thought process. I was like, okay, I'm exposing myself to the public. If I do something wrong, they're gonna know. I mean, clients can talk badly about me. They can say that my program is bad. They can put on a bad review somewhere probably. But when I said to myself, okay, you have the knowledge. I think all of you guys really, and it might sound insane, but I do think you have the knowledge to get to 100K. It's just the work you put in that's the difference. And the work you put in is going to be when you realize that probably that fear of failure is it's not real. That was like my main thought process, and I was like, okay,
I think
if
I have a question to like add on to that. It's like real quick.
yeah,
Because I actually have the same fear. Like if I get too many clients and people are gonna start saying bad things about me, because I have a number of clients that I'm actually very comfortable with right now. And so that's actually a limiting belief of why I'm not posting more content because I'm like I'm on rev share with a lot of them. A lot of them pay me a decent amount of money, but it's like if I scale, then I have more people, and it's like so like my because it's
yeah.
a done for you service right now. So it's kind of like how did you get over that kind of? And then also, did people create a Reddit thread on you? And then like yeah, that's kind of like
No, thanks God it didn't happen. At least I didn't find it. I hope not. I hope not. But I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna accept the fact that some people just are not gonna like working with me and they're gonna pay me either way. I just accepted it because I had the opportunity to talk with a guy that's making 2 million a month. Like he's making 2 mil a month euros here where I live. And when I talked with him, he said, look, our percentage of people that are happy was like about 73%. And the rest are not. The rest are complaining. Some are going to ask for a refund, but it's okay because life works in a way where you're just not going to be liked by everyone. And even though your fulfillment could be insane and really good, there's still going to be people that won't like it. So I was like, okay. I had my own thought process for a few days, but then it was like, I'm just gonna accept it. And I know that I'm good at what I do. I know that the clients already they have nice results, really nice results. I have really nice testimonials. So if there's someone that just doesn't like me, it's okay because it's gonna happen either way. I just thought also about the biggest companies in the world. Some people love Apple, some people hate it. Some people love Microsoft, some people hate it. It's the same thing and their product might be good. I mean, if you look at it, it's good, but some people are still gonna hate it. They're still gonna try to find something. So it's just life. When I got to that point, I just like how do you say it? I stopped trying to control everything and I just let myself scale. And I launched the other offers and I sold them the best, like to the most people I could that I knew would help them. And obviously, there was always someone that, yeah, but I don't like this, but I don't like that. And if it helps you, how I fixed when someone didn't like something, I just cold called them. I have their number. So I just called them and I was like, hey, I saw your message. What's up? How's life going? And they were like, oh, hi, you're calling me. And I was like, yeah, why not? Come on, let's talk. Let me help you. What can I help you with? What is it that you're not liking? And in the end, you realize that they don't like something because they're just not putting the work. And they think that I'm gonna buy from you, I'm gonna become a millionaire. It's like people that have that mindset, most of them. Because if your system works and you know it works, you should be calm, pretty much. So I think I don't know if this answers your question, but yeah.
no, that exactly answers it. Thank you so much. That's literally where I am right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like we tend, I think, as humans and also as entrepreneurs, try to control everything. And I know that something that I should definitely do is eventually add a setter and a closer so that I don't control that part as well, and I'm aware. Um, but once we realize that everything will just fall to its right place, and there's always going to be the bad and the good, like the yin yang, it's there for a reason. We're never going to be, and we'll never have 100% fulfillment. It's just statistics, and I accepted that, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna answer. I think you have a few more questions on the chat. How did you manage to detach yourself from the views? Alan, I detached myself when I realized they're not giving me more sales. I had the limiting belief that more views equals more sales, but they don't. I actually, when I started getting less views, I started scaling, and I was like, what? But it really happened that way. I started posting more content, maintaining the same quality, not maybe in the editing, but in the message. And less people started watching it, obviously, because it's a lot of volume. But the ones who did, they bought, and they bought much more, and they bought the expensive ticket. So that's how I detached myself out of everything. Could I DM you after to ask a few more questions? Yeah, of course, maybe. You can DM me, of course. If any one of you has more questions, then yeah, let me know. I think I answered all of them. So if you guys want to ask anything, like I have time, no worries, you can ask. And if not, I think I hope you like the presentation and everything. And I hope that I broke also a lot of limiting beliefs that you only can do things one way, not another way. Because I think everything is possible if you put in the work, anything, like in any way you want to do something. Yeah, Zaina.
Can I just ask you on that final point that you made, what does give you that audacity to be able to like do things in the unconventional way and then believe it will work out?
I saw one guy do it, and I was like, if he can do it, why can't I? I only saw one guy. I didn't see anyone else. I only saw one guy. But when I saw him, I was like, how can you do it? How is it possible? So he just broke my limiting belief that okay, it's possible. That was it. That was it. Like I think we as humans need at least one single proof that that way is possible. And when we find it, for me personally, I just liked it more because I was like, okay, I could deal with a team, and I definitely want to in the future. Because now we're like there's two people, and I almost don't talk with them. I mean, there's a good relation, but I almost don't talk with them. And I was like, I think it's gonna be easier if I try to scale past the top number I can, doing it how I'm doing it. And when just imagine when I add two setters and two closers, like maybe I get to 500,000 a month in about three months. Who knows? So that was like my thought process. And when I saw someone do it and I paid them as well, like I said, okay, you're doing this. You need to explain to me how are you doing this? Like I need to know. And he told me like the three keys as to what should I focus on. And I was like, okay, I'll just focus on that. And that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Super cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.